I've learned through trial and error that trying to do it all doesn't do anything at all.
You're listening to the Architect My Life podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping empower women creative entrepreneurs such as architects and designers have it all: business growth, financial freedom, and health and wellness. I'm Aya Shlachter, your host and CEO of MGS Global Group. This podcast is also brought to you by the MGS Global Group. We provide BIM modeling and drafting services to overwhelmed architects and design firm owners. Now let's dive into this episode.
Hi everyone, our guest this week is Jazz Smollet, producer, author, cook, interior designer, and joy creator. Jazz serves as the lifestyle guru, designer, and cooking expert on CleoTV's Living by Design. Now airing on its third season, Jazz serves as both co-host as well as co-executive producer. Her first cookbook, The Family Table, Recipes and Moments from a Nomadic Life, includes more than 130 delicious recipes and explains the origin of her love of all things food, culture, and design. She is currently working on her second book. Jazz and her team take on private clients and designs commercial spaces, residential, and transitional spaces.
So I'm very excited to have Jazz in the show today. Welcome to the show, Jazz.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited. I don't even know where to start because you've done so much. So let's just start at the beginning. Where I always ask my guests, especially all the creative, entrepreneurs, if you have an experience or a person that inspired you to pursue your career in design.
Wow, if I had to pick one person, it would absolutely be my mom. She has inspired me in all the ways, and definitely where design and style that I do is concerned comes from the influence of my mom. Like, she was someone who always made our home very full, very soulful and eclectic, and really could feel her presence in the home, even if she was not there, which she was usually there. But I'm saying, it was really styled in a way that was very personal to her and meaningful and personal to our family. We didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot of money, but she made a lot with her hands. She made everything from scratch, from the donuts we ate, to bagels, to potato chips, cakes, but she also made furnishings from scratch. We all got in there and painted the walls with her, knocked out kitchen walls once she bought a house later in life. It was always kind of a DIY before we knew what that was. Type of mentality. She built kitchen tables before we were born, and that tradition continued all through our childhood. Every table we ate at, and that's what we wrote the cookbook, The Family Table, Recipes and Memories from a Nomadic Life, because we moved a lot, but we always had the constant of that kitchen table that she built, and she would build it from butcher block, and she would bond the wood herself, and with the help of us or my dad. And then she also built our beds. Like, we had 2 3-tier bunk beds at a point. She built a sliding board in our bedroom.
Wow.
We had toy boxes she built and put our names on it and carved little blocks out of it. She built our blocks. Everything, she handmade toys. And then at a point, I know she wanted to be an architect. She used to design she had canvases, and she had her own art table. She would design buildings and different ideas and draw things up. And that was literally for her own imagination, because her background was not in design. She did study theater, which is very much connected to design, because I actually studied theater in college, and it helped me see the story and everything. What I do with design now is I'm telling a story. So everything is about storytelling. and the characters are your clients. Or if it's a hotel, the characters are the people who come in and out of there, and the hotel itself, the space itself, is the character. I diverted into a lot of other things, but yeah, it would be my mom.
That's amazing.
And the way that I grew up, because we grew up as kind of like a farm family. Like, we had to pitch in, had to do big. There was nothing we couldn't make happen without resources, but imagination, our own hands, some scrap wood, or some junk we found on the corner, the street. Like, my sister's high chair was refurbished from a wooden high chair that was on the street. My mom sanded it up, she painted it purple, and pushed it up to the table. That was her high chair.
This was all before YouTube, I suppose, before you can watch all the DIY stuff.
Oh my gosh, definitely. Way before.
She must be a really strong woman. Like, lifting those plywoods to make your bunk beds. That's no joke.
Well, she is. And that's also where she would, enlist the help of my dad if he was home from work in earlier days. And then later, my brothers, or myself or my sister. But that's where my brother host Living by Design with. That's where he really got the building, everything. He was always called in to help.
This is great. Talk to me about Living by Design. I know it's on CleoTV, and you co-host it with your brother. And congratulations on completing the 3rd season. Can you tell us about how this began and the exciting things you're doing at Living by Design?
Yeah, so Living by Design has been such a great platform for us to be able to have such a wonderful creative expression while also seeing the way that design can impact people's lives in so many ways, and how they feel about themselves, and encouraging them towards their dreams and all these types of things. When you transform someone's space, it's functional, but it's also inspiring. It's also creating a sanctuary, reflecting back to them who they are, and what they are capable of. And you're putting their dreams into that space, because we go really deep into who each client is behind the scenes in pre-production. Like, I love getting on the phone with our guests and asking them a whole multitude of questions over the span of like an hour to really get to know them as much as we can in that time frame. Questions like, where's their dream vacation place? Where's their favorite in nature? Is it the mountains? Is it the beach? Is it, a multitude of questions like this. What do they like to do in their space? Because some people like to entertain. Some people want to, a space where it's cozy, kind of Netflix and chill. Some people want all of that. Some people need to be able to work in the space that you're designing, but they also need to have storage in that space. And they also need to have it function as a living space. There's so many different facets of what people individually need in their space. So it's been a lot of fun to really come into people's homes and have them trust us to do that. I love the aspect of, okay, we kick them out, we bring in cameras, we've done our pre-production, we know what we're going to do with this space, we've already looked at, the colors they love, the fabrics, the patterns, the textures that make them, make their hearts sing, and connect them to themselves. And then we throw them out. We bring in the cameras and it's transformed. They come back and they're always like, oh my gosh, how did you get this so spot on? This is so me. And that's what it goes back to. It's the storytelling. Because we've gotten to know the characters, which are the clients. And then we have really dug deep to be like, okay, what would their world look like? What would this person's world look like? So when someone enters their home, they feel that person in their space. They feel, the client in that space. But Living by Design actually came about in a really interesting way because we were promoting our cookbook at the time. I was working in Atlanta because I'm also a producer. I produce behind the scenes content, as well as I'm a multi-hyphenate. I have 12.
I know. I was just, yeah, we'll talk
Yeah,
about that
I know
later.
we're here to
Yeah,
talk
you need
about
to,
design,
yeah,
but I'm a
everything,
multi-hyphenate.
everything.
And yeah, I was producing behind the scenes for Universal Pictures and Will Pack Productions, called Little. So I was already in Atlanta. Jake and I were promoting our book, The Family Tape, and we were on a show called Butter and Brown for Aspire TV. And the consulting producers on that show were Rochelle Brown and Sonia Armstead, and they are Powerhouse Productions. And they came to us and said, hey, there's a new network called CleoTV. It's an offshoot of TV One, and we are producing a slate show for them. And one of them is a show called Living by Design, and we think you guys would be great co-hosts for it. We're going to pitch it to the network and all of that. And so I sat down at lunch with them like the following day. They had to shoot back to LA, and just their excitement and their authenticity with this. And we were really excited to be able to have a lot of creative input in the development process. And Powerhouse, like, they're just amazing. Like, the way they're able to make this show happen, and we all do this. It's so much fun. It's such a labor of love. We're designing on a dime. We're designing on a budget because the network is fairly new, although TV One is not new, but CleoTV is new, and we are definitely designing on a budget. We also I shop a lot for that show, what I like to call online thrifting.
Oh, where? Share, please.
My design partner and I, we are, we're on calls till 1 p.m. working through these rooms because we're shooting in 30 days. We shoot 16 episodes.
Wait, 3 days?
30. In 30 days.
30 days, 16 episodes. That's, whew.
Well, we shoot 1 episode a day. However, we have pre-production. We have about 2 weeks pre-production, sometimes 3 weeks. And so we're designing these spaces, 3-4 of them at a time. So to call it online thrifting, it's really Facebook Marketplace and Quiz.
Oh, okay.
Any other line where you can get gently used of the cost. Because many times people, and you have to go and see it, you have to check it out and all of that, and to get it clean, what have you. It's a way of, so we realized that this is actually, it's a simple practice in a way. And it's actually a way to make use of that someone was going to go out instead of buying new. And some stuff we're buying, but some stuff, if you have a West Elm sofa that's thousands of dollars and then get it for $500 because someone's once they move, or didn't need it anymore for what reason, but it's like gently used, it's beautiful, and it fits the style of the client, it's a win. We tend to be doing is we're upping online thrifting, and we're okay, well, this doesn't work for this person, but it might work for someone else. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna put it in the warehouse, and we're gonna have this. Oh yeah, we have that sofa that actually works for so. So it's a lot of juggling with that show because you're getting a multitude, 16 clients,
and it's good for the environment. You're recycling.
Yeah,
and you're helping people, make a living.
Exactly. Some of the projects that we have Jake do on the show, because he does a build or he refurbishes. So on the show, I like to say I do the design and the dessert, make dessert for a meal, and Jake does a build. So he makes the main course of the meal. He builds a custom piece.
Does he do a build for all 16?
He does a build or he refurbishes the piece. Like what I was talking about, my sister's high chair, that type of thing.
Yeah.
We go again, online thrifting, we'll go Craigslist Marketplace, and we may get like a wardrobe thing, whatever the client might need, and then have Jake sand it down, refurbish it. We did one episode where we were doing an office space for someone, and we found an old hutch, and he removed the doors, he sanded it down, he painted it ebony, and then he put contact paper at the back behind the shelves, removed the shelves, put the contact paper, put the shelf. So it looked like she had wallpaper because it was a large hutch, and we weren't allowed to paint the walls in her particular unit any particular color.
Oh, wow. Do you know which episode this was?
I want to say
curious.
It was this season, but it was episode,
okay.
Oh, I want to say 13.
I'll check it out.
But I'll send you which one it is.
Yeah.
I forget the numbers.
I know it's a lot. So Living by Design was named by your producer.
Yeah.
Or did you name that?
No, they
And
named it.
it's perfect because you were living by design starting from your
Yeah.
mom, right? It's
Yeah,
almost like it was meant to be for you and your brother.
we co-executive produce it, but yeah, like the production company, the physical production company, Powerhouse, yeah, they named Jazz.
So, how would you characterize living by design for yourself?
Oh, in my own life,
Yes.
to me, living by design is really about. Oh my gosh, I sound like the original commercial for it. I was about to say exactly what I
Just
said.
say it.
But that wasn't it for me. I said that. Yeah, like living by design is like living your whole life, like living your best life in all the areas that feed our souls, in all the areas that I would consider to be lifestyle. Because lifestyle space, that's why I say I am a lifestyle connoisseur or a lifestyle expert, because really it's about bringing joy. It's about being a seeker, whether that's travel, culture, food, design, decor, tablescapes, parties, entertaining. All of that is, these are the things we do that go beyond necessity to survive. The things that just, we do them because they bring joy, they bring connection, they come from our humanity, they come from a space of our need to connect with each other and to feed our souls and connect to the deepest parts of ourselves, to really connect our spirit, to express ourselves. It's the same thing with fashion. All of these things are not so. So if you look at food, for instance, I always say we don't, most times, obviously there's times and there's parts of the world where we're eating for nourishment, but there's oftentimes there's ritual around food. That's why we care about certain spices and seasonings, where they come from and what they mean and what they do for our bodies and all these things. There's a ritual involved in it, and there's a ritual involved in every aspect of lifestyle and culture. It tells a story of who we are, and that's why I'm so bent on, when it comes to design, really making sure that it reflects the client. And that's on the micro level with individual clients, but also on the macro level when you think about the world of design and the world of architecture, and that we don't want to go around the world placing a Western value system of what is so-called good, what is good taste, what is good architecture, in parts of the world that may not be their truth. It may not really reflect that space, that time, that location, or that region.
Yeah, and you talk a lot about storytelling, right? What do you think is the connection between storytelling and interior design?
Yeah, the connection between storytelling and interior design is really important to me. It's because, like I said earlier, you're telling the story of the client, or you're telling the story of the place. If you're in a specific type of home, you're not going to fight against what that home is. Like if there's certain things you can't change about it, you're going to kind of go with what that is, the story that home is already telling, and how you can enhance that to make it that much more passionate, that much more expressive, and all these things. And it's the same with individual clients. It's the same with if you're doing a hotel in another region in the world. Like, what's the story that's being told? And we don't want to see every story being told in the same way, because that's not truth. We're not monolithic as people. And even within specific cultures, we're not monolithic. So you can't say, oh, well, this particular culture likes this. You have to then, you start with the macro of, okay, this is the region of the world, and this is what is custom here, or whatever it is. But then you have to get to specifics of that particular client. And so storytelling to me is to design in the way that, again, you figure out who the characters are, what the location is, what the world is that surrounds that space, that location, and you work from there. And you're creating the characters, the story, but the characters and the story are already there. You're just kind of uncovering, like you're excavating it.
Yeah. So as a designer, how do you usually inject your personal taste or professional knowledge into your client's space, which is their style and preference too? Like, how do you merge your ideas and their ideas?
So my ideas are usually regards to I want to dig into you and who you are, and I want to pull that out.
I like.
So I wouldn't say I have a signature style because what I love is different from what some clients love. I love bold, saturated colors. That is my jam.
Oh.
It feels very homey and soulful to me, although I am changing my living room and kitchen area now to do a more light and airy kind of California vibe because I just am feeling that right now. And, I change with what I personally like often, but with a client, it's really about guiding them to see who they are, what they love, because they may have a multitude of things they love, but it's really about, okay, how do we pin this down to really speak to who you are? And I may say, now, in my opinion, from what you have said and from what I see of you and how you talk about what you need in this space, what you want the space to feel like, I would push you in this direction. But if your instinct is really telling you that you love this particular color pattern, this particular style, then I'll push you in this direction. And usually the reason that a client hires a designer is because they're looking to be guided. They're not usually, I haven't found people to be hard, fast on, oh no, I need this particular chair with this particular sofa. We've had clients, of course, who have said, the only thing that I have to keep is this bed because we bought it when we first got married and it means a lot to us, whatever the situation is, and then we design around that.
Yeah.
But I haven't had anyone, fight on design technique or what complements their style or what doesn't or anything like that. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
No, you
I think
did.
you were asking me about connecting my own style.
Yes. No, but my other question is, I mean,
I'm an explorer.
Yes.
Is what I am. I originally was going to be an investigative journalist.
I love that about you. Journalism, cookbook. You call yourself a lifestyle guru. I love that.
I literally, what I do in my other work as a producer is I interview people a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in people. It's the through line through everything I do. I'm interested in excavating and finding out the humanity of people, digging, connecting to their souls. That's why I love getting in people's spaces and helping them really create a space that feels like a sanctuary.
So apart from your design and living by design, you also have another practice, correct? A design practice?
Yes, I have started taking individual clients. I'm also moving into beyond residential. I'm moving into commercial and transitional spaces. Transitional being, of course, hotels, boutique hotels, as well as Airbnbs or VRBOs. I'm working with some developers and real estate investors right now to design their vacation rentals, things like that. It's really a space that I would love to be in, and that's where I'm moving right now.
So how can you connect with people who own VRBOs or Airbnbs when they're not living there? Like, how do you approach design?
Right, a new challenge,
Yes.
right?
Maybe this is where you could inject your design sensibilities. I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. That's part of the reason I want to take that on, because I'm really interested in the people who come through this space. Still a story, though, because the owner of that space has certain clientele they assume or expect will come through their space based on where it's located. Is this a beach house, a desert home? So I go off of them, and then I imagine if I were vacationing here. So yes, this is where I have to put more of my style to a particular space. If I were vacationing here, what would I want to see? What do I know people that would make someone who's vacationing in the desert? Who is that person who wants to vacation in the desert? And this is where I take characters. So it's a new challenge, and it's part of the reason that I want to get into that. I also want to eventually be able to use my platform to help bring awareness to that particular Airbnb or that particular space.
Is it like an influencer marketing? Also, like as a marketing tool, or
yeah, but on my platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, to just kind of have, oh, like this is where I stay, or I did a photo shoot here, and I designed this space, and come stay here, and things like that, and kind of make it be a whole experience.
So, on a personal note, what is your day like? Because I don't know, you do so much. You're a producer, you're a mom to you have a daughter, right? Like
Yes,
how?
yeah, I have an 8 year
Yeah,
old.
you're a mom, you're a daughter. I mean, you have a daughter, you're a producer, you have a show, you design. So, how do you structure your days?
My life is in blocks. So it's basically like right now, I mean, gearing up for the holidays, it's all about my daughter. I mean, we're not shooting Living by Design again likely until March. So there's downtime on that. We just finished a private client right before the holidays. So there's, at this point now, my day is a little bit less hectic than it was early in the year because we're hitting into the holidays now. But that's why I decided I want my living room and dining and kitchen done before the holidays. So
Can you
I'm
show me
kind of sharing.
photos when you're done, before and after?
Yes.
Another question, because a lot of our listeners are moms who hustle and they're always overwhelmed and so busy. Do you have a support system to help you, like a nanny or your mom or your family, or when you're at the busy peak filming and all that? Like, how do you juggle?
So I'm going to be transparent and say I'm not great with putting all of the support system in place, but it's kind of a juggle more than a balance. So there's seasons where it's like, okay, I like when I go and shoot Living by Design, I'm there in New York for 3 weeks. I take my daughter for the first week, and then I bring her back because she's in school. I bring her back, and she's with her dad for 2 weeks, and that's like the longest so far that I'm gone away from her because I'm usually based in LA. I'm co-parenting. I try to take her with me when I can. And then she's getting older now. So like when we were shooting Living by Design, she actually was in one episode, and she's just like hanging out with the producers while I'm shooting, and she's doing her homework, and she's sitting there watching, and she's hanging with the glam team. Like loves the
I can
glam
see
team.
a mini Jazz.
Yeah, she's like she loves the glam team. She's like she's 8 now.
Yeah.
She was 7.5, but yeah, it's getting older, so she's able to. So it's getting a lot easier when I have her on set or something like that, or in some I take her to a client's house if I, picked her up from school to go get the art from the framing, and I'm hanging stuff, whatever I'm doing. I bring her if I have her with me, and then my mom actually doesn't live too far from me. So my mom is another resource. My sister is a resource. Like I have a nephew who's only 2 years younger than my daughter. So we sometimes, I have both kids, and sometimes she has both kids, and it works. I don't know how.
I mean, you have a great support system.
Yes.
You have family,
All
your
of my family
nephew.
is here.
You're lucky. My family's in the Philippines. I have my in-laws here, but you're lucky.
Yeah,
You have a lot of people.
and also I have to I'm really blessed to have a really good support system with my family, and also Nyla's dad is very involved. We're divorced, but we're co-parent. She's really close to him as well, of course, and as she's really close to me. So it's been good so far, like juggling. But like I say, like the juggle is real.
Oh yeah,
Because
I
at
know.
times the reality is, as a mom, at times you do want to pull your hair out, and not because of the kid, but because you're just trying to be the best of all the different things that you're doing. You care, and you're passionate about all your roles in life. And I have my own personal life, and there's all of these things that we're trying to juggle, but it just all works out. I just try to stop and breathe. I don't always remember to do that. Honestly, sometimes it's crazy. People always have that question, moms, like there's not that you're, everyone asks that question, but really, I think that any mom has it all figured
No,
out.
I had mom guilt a lot when I was growing the business because I was traveling. And I felt so bad because I was traveling a lot, but
Yeah.
they don't even remember.
Mom guilt is so
Yeah, but they
real.
don't even remember.
It's
Like,
so
we're just
real.
like, to be
Oh
honest,
my
like I had mom guilt when they were young because I was traveling. They have no idea that I left. So, I always tell my moms, the mothers who have mom guilt, when they're young, they don't really remember that much,
Right.
but it's real, right?
It is because well, I think naturally feel like we want to be near our kids a lot of times. And yeah, like it's also societal why we feel guilty, I think, but it's also kind of instinctual. I think I probably would feel guilty even if it wasn't societal because that's my nature. I'm
Yeah.
really specific and intentional, almost to craziness where my daughter is concerned, especially when she was little.
Yeah.
It was kind of a battle. It was a challenge that I had to overcome. I was just really worried.
Well, that's what happens with the
Oh
first
yeah,
the first
right,
child. Yeah, the second it's like forget about
right.
it. Like, what he ate?
You're like, oh,
I used to like literally
they say that.
my first yeah, my daughter was newborn. I would like weigh her before I fed her because I used to breastfeed and weigh her after.
Oh,
Crazy because I didn't know if she was drinking any
see,
milk
I
from my
wasn't. I
breast,
wasn't
whatever.
doing bad. I was hating her. I thought I was bad.
Yeah. And then the next one came, I'm like, whatever. I pumped and gave milk, or yeah, it
But
was
by
like
then you
very
know that
chill.
they're gonna like be okay because the other one.
Yeah, they will be. So you're teaching your daughter how to sew.
Yes, I am.
Okay, tell me about. I need to teach my kids how to do that.
Well, I taught her a little while ago actually hand sew. And now she's like really into it. So I'm thinking of getting a sewing machine for Christmas. She's not
Oh my God, she has good hand-eye coordination
yeah. Well, I'm thinking
at 8.
one. I gotta find. I'm
Wow.
looking for a really good kid one because I have one. But yeah,
Yeah.
I learned to sew when I was little. My mom used to also sew.
Oh my God, of course she did.
Yeah, of
If she
course,
could build beds, she could
everything.
make you clothes.
She would sew like matching outfits for she and I.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. At the age when my daughter still wants to wear matching outfits, so I'm super excited about that. So maybe I'll sew some of those with her while she still
Oh,
wants to do that. I don't
that's
know when that
so
will
cute.
stop.
When you have time, right? Like you have extra time
Yeah,
to
in
make
the
your own
holidays,
clothes.
well, because in the holidays and like usually I try on the weekend to plan ahead with some activities that we can do, like go skating, ice skating or do something, especially because it's the holiday time. And
Yeah.
then I'm half Jewish, so like Sunday. Well, no, what is the first day of Hanukkah? I gotta look it up because I thought it was
Sunday.
the
It's
16th.
because my husband is Jewish,
It's Sunday.
and I don't know if it's the first. We're
Sunday is supposed to be. I thought Sunday was the first day, and
I
then
think it's the first day. Sunday is the first
okay,
day.
okay. So because the Grove here is doing some event of a menorah lighting
Oh.
on the 21st, and I'm like, wait, is that the first day? Okay, no.
As long
But
as we celebrate, that's all that matters, right?
yeah,
So, Jazz, I have a question about business. So, architects, designers, and creatives were taught how to master their craft, but not taught how to run or grow a business. And how do you manage your business? Were you taught by a business coach, or like did you go to business school, take business classes? Like, how do you navigate the business side of your practice?
so I think a lot of that has from doing it. For me, my background in producing for the last 30 years has really helped me in that aspect. Also, I actually am good at putting together a team when it comes to business, and I have a great team. And I think that it's really for me it's been about the creativity lead, but the business aspect of it, being able to delegate and find people who are stronger in that area.
I really think that delegating is very crucial
Right.
because a lot of creatives don't like to delegate. They want to do everything themselves. But I really think that the successful creatives know how to successfully delegate as well.
Absolutely. You can't do it all.
Yeah,
I've learned through trial and error that trying to do it all doesn't do anything at all.
that's true. So can we talk about a little bit about the cookbook and what type of food is in your cookbook? Is it a mix of like, is there a theme to your cookbook, and what's your favorite recipe?
So the cookbook is actually very much family style meals and just very home cooked family meals. So there's several different chapters to the book. So we have like a New Orleans chapter because called New Orleans Roots because our mom grew up in New Orleans by way of Galveston, Texas. She was born in Galveston. So we have a lot of New Orleans influence in the way that we grew up cooking. There's also a few Jewish recipes because our dad, like potato knish, and then there's some we've made up with matzah and chocolate caramel. This is
Oh my
like,
God.
yeah,
I want to get that cookbook, by the way.
yes,
We'll put it
absolutely.
on the links when we release the podcast. Yeah.
And then there's also a lot of great desserts, a lot like peach cobbler or vanilla rose pound cake, or a lot of the type of stuff that you would make on a holiday, for instance. We do like Cornish hens and cornbread stuffing, and then we do a pot roast, and there's like fried fish, and I mean it runs the gamut. It's basically all the family meals that we kind of grew up eating and
So,
cooking.
so that was your project, right? You wrote that.
Myself and three of my siblings.
Oh, okay. So, like
Yeah.
when I was younger and I really enjoyed cooking before I gave birth, I thought about, taking photos of my recipes. But obviously, it's very difficult. Like, how do you navigate writing a book, taking photos, getting the recipes, ingredients together? Like, how long did that
Oh,
take?
well, no. So the book, the way that worked, and I was the project manager because that was naturally going to happen because my producing background. But we were published with William Morrow book through HarperCollins. So you get in advance, go off, and you produce the book.
Yeah.
And so I had to hire a photographer, a great photographer. His name is Ray Kachtorian. And that's how I met my design partner,
Oh
my
my God.
current design partner who works with me on Living by Design, because I needed to hire a prop stylist,
Oh, okay.
which highly recommended by the photographer. Because what I didn't realize, and what I think many may not realize when you write a book, is that obviously you need the photographer. Unless you're going to shoot everything yourself and you're self-publishing. We were self-publishing. The photographer, but then also a food stylist, prop stylist. Those are two separate people.
Yeah.
And the food stylist, in addition to the chefs who cook your recipes for the picture. We
Oh,
had
okay.
already done the
You
recipes.
have the chefs to cook so that it looks professional. Yeah.
Yeah, after we've already developed the recipes. So we already developed the recipes,
Oh,
and then
okay.
we work with a recipe tester who tests those recipes and comes back and lets us know if there's any kinks. Because a lot of stuff you grow up cooking, and moms are always like, to taste.
Yeah,
Put
just
to
put
taste.
salt here, put like sugar there, right?
Exactly. So you work with the tester, and most of the recipes, the savory was Jake, was recipe testing that one, and I was most of the dessert recipes and some of the savory.
I'm on your team. I'm on the
Yeah,
dessert team.
and the brunch stuff, but also a lot of the writing, like I loved that part of it, like writing the introduction and writing the intros to the chapter, and the stories, the family stories. Like that was really where my heart was as well in creating that book. I one time saw a man reading it in Barnes and Noble, and I was so excited. I'm like, someone's reading the intro.
Did you just say, "Hey, that's my book. Would you like an autograph?" That's great.
Because it was more than a cookbook. It was like a food memoir. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I always talk also about work-life balance, which is why my podcast is called Architect My Life. It's kind of like living by design. Like I'm gonna architect
Yeah.
my life. So, how do you maintain balance in your life, and what activities do you do outside of work, like sports or like this is embarrassing, but people know that I watch Korean drama. That's
Oh, where do you watch that?
on Netflix, Hulu. So that's my thing because I work so much and I run a business and that's my stress
Yeah.
release, and obviously I do yoga. But what do you do for fun outside of work, hobbies? Do you binge
I
watch Netflix?
I love I love to read.
Good.
I read like book club style with my daughter because I hope that one day she'll, when there are books that I love, she'll still want to read with me. Right now it's like kid chapter books, you know. I love to read. I love hiking. I love the beach. I love exploring. I go for runs. I love trying new restaurants. I have so
It's
many
lifestyle. It's
hobbies.
everything lifestyle.
I like to craft. I love cooking.
Yeah.
I love cooking.
What's your absolute favorite thing to cook right now?
Okay, as you know, it changes all the time.
Yeah, but right now,
from talking to me.
yeah.
But right now, I make a really good eggplant parmesan or an eggplant lasagna.
Ooh.
I am on a vegan kick for the last recent time, like last 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I'm just in a season of fasting, like I'm in a spiritual season now.
Yeah.
Of fasting and prayer. And so with that, I've just cut out meat and dairy.
So it's good. It's creative to be vegan and eat well as a vegan. It's also creativity.
And that's why I'm able to do it because I love to cook. So to me, you know, it's all about the seasonings and stuff. And I love when I go out and I want to, you know, splurge on food, you know, splurge or like guilty pleasure eating. It's vegan restaurants because
in LA, there's a lot of really good ones for sure. In LA and New York City.
Because I feel like that, like when I was shooting the last season of Living by Design, like I'm eating quick, I'm eating like grilled chicken and salad and whatever. So my days off, I was like, I want to indulge in vegan food or Italian food or like something like that. Because the chefs are so creative because they have to be.
Yes, yes.
And also, I've been dating a vegetarian for a while now.
Oh,
so
okay. No wonder why your skin is glowy.
My skin is glowing. Thank you.
It makes a difference when you're
really
vegan.
Good vegetarian, because that's one of my love languages is to cook for people. So, you know, like.
Okay, next cookbook, Jazz. That's the next cookbook.
Oh, like vegan?
Yes.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I love food. Yeah. And but I also, where food is concerned, I don't like for myself, I'm never going to like say, oh yeah, I'm fully plant-based. So I want to be able to travel, and not that you can't travel as a vegan or plant-based, you can, but I want to be able to try scorpions. I want to be able to try everything.
Good. It's part of culture and storytelling.
Food's the only thing that I would try anything.
That's good. Well, come to the Philippines and we're going to eat a whole roasted pork.
I would love to. Offline, we need to offline about that.
Yes, definitely. Let's do that. So Jazz, I have always my last question for my guests. 2 questions. Mm-hmm. What's next for Living by Design, or what's next for Jazz, and where do you see yourself in 3 years? So you can just answer the what's next for Jazz or Living by Design and in the next 3 years.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, what's next for the next 3 years? Like, how do I answer that? Like, so I am working on another cookbook. I am planning on, we are planning to shoot more seasons Living by Design, likely in the spring.
In New York City?
Yeah. There's a couple other shows that we're developing, my brother Jake and I. And I would love to, within the next 3 years, I plan to release products in the home space and cookware space. And just, you know, continue to dig further into design and food and culture and, you know, travel the world doing.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Jazz. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you. I did too.
That was producer, interior designer, and joy creator, Jazz Smollet.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Architect My Life, a podcast brought to you by the MGS Global Group. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you would like to add to the conversation through your own experiences, I encourage you to be a guest on one of our upcoming episodes. Visit architectmylife.com/apply to learn how. I firmly believe that a strong community drives change and fosters success. If you'd like to be part of this community, join the All-Female Architect My Life Facebook group. Please take a moment to review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at aya_architectmylife and Architect My Life Podcast. Thanks again for listening. I'm Aya Shlachter. Until next time.